Today we'll be installing the Flatline Van Co. ProMaster Rear Door Platform for the driver's side of the van. This can be a bit more of an involved installation and will need an extra hand to hold things in place. The whole process should take between 1 to 2 hours. Start by removing the lower panel trim using a plastic trim tool. Take your time and go easy so you don't break any of the factory clips. If any clips stay behind in the door, just pop them out and snap them back into the panel. Next up, grab the door drill template and line it up on the outside of the rear driver's side door. Make sure the arrow on the template lines up with the right side of the door like you see here. Quick heads up, the template is shaped to fit the metal contours of the van, not the plastic around the license plate, so press it firmly against the metal for a good fit. Once you've marked your spot, drill a pilot hole using a 3/16 inch bit, then open it up with a 27/64 inch bit. After drilling, make sure to deburr and hit those exposed edges with some paint to keep rust from sneaking in. Next, drill a clearance hole for the license plate wiring using a 1/4 inch bit or something close to that. Just be careful not to punch through the plastic housing that holds the license plate light. You'll want to leave that intact. Now go ahead and mount the license plate relocation bracket to the platform frame. Use 2 3/8 inch carriage bolts along with flat washers and nylon lock nuts, and thread them into the spots shown here. Make sure everything's snug, but don't over tighten, just solid enough to keep things secure. Now mark a few reference points around the top and bottom hinges on the driver's side door to help with alignment. Then carefully remove the 3 factory bolts from the lower hinge using a T40 Torx. Skip the power tools here. These bolts strip really easily, and it's super easy to cross-thread them. Once the bolts are out, support the door and swing the hinge back so you can slide the D2 hinge bracket into place. Reinstall the factory bolts snug, then slowly close the door to check for clearance before fully tightening them down. After that, repeat the same steps for the upper hinge with the D1 hinge bracket. Just make sure the door is supported the whole time to avoid any twisting. You can use a punch or screwdriver in one of the holes to keep the door aligned while threading the bolts back in. Once both brackets are in, give the door a test close to make sure everything's clearing like it should. Time to install the third mount. Slide a 3/8 carriage bolt through the hole you drilled, then add the bungee bracket, a 3/8 flat washer, and finish it off with a nylon lock nut. Make sure the bungee bracket is oriented exactly like it is here. Getting that right is key for everything to line up properly. With a second set of hands, lift the platform into place and line it up with the upper and lower hinge brackets. Slide in 2 3/8 inch screws into the top and lower hinge brackets, and loosely thread on a flat washer and nylon lock nut for each. Be extra careful if you've got factory rear windows. You don't want to crack anything while maneuvering the platform. Double check that the fins of the platform sit inside the hinge brackets like shown here. Next, insert the bushing assembly through the third mount bracket hole, center it up, and secure it with a washer and nylon lock nut. Be sure not to over-tighten this bolt. Watch the bushing until it just barely starts to bulge. That's how you'll know it's tight. Then grab a 9/16 inch wrench and socket to bolt the lower frame brace to the door using 2 more flanged screws, washers, and lock nuts. Once the third mount's snug, slowly open and close the door to make sure nothing's rubbing or catching. If all's good, go ahead and tighten everything down. With the platform secured to the door, you can move on to popping off the factory plastic cap on the inside of the door using a flathead screwdriver. Next, mount the bracket to the threaded holes inside the door jamb using the supplied M6 screws in the orientation shown. Then, attach the other end of the strap to the webbing guide if it isn't already attached, and bolt the guide to the van using 2 M6 socket head screws, flat washers, and lock nuts in the spot shown. Make sure the middle loop of the webbing is facing inward towards the passenger door for the bungee connection later. Now it's time to set up the limit strap retraction bungee. Run the bungee through the sewn loop in the middle of the limit strap and tie it off with a figure 8 knot, or something similar, so the full length is about 14 inches. Then thread the other end through the bungee bracket, pull it tight, and tie it off with a simple overhand knot. That'll keep the strap clean and tensioned when the door is closed. Before we wrap up with the wiring, attach the bottle opener to the third mount bracket using two 1/4 20 button head screws. Finally, the license plate relocation wiring. In order to splice in the new light using your preferred method, just make sure you wire it in parallel with the factory harness, white to red, black to black. We recommend sealing around the drill hole with a bit of silicone to keep out moisture and debris. The kit uses an LED light, and since LEDs draw less power than stock bulbs, your dash might throw a bulb out warning. If that happens, adding a load resistor, which isn't included, should take care of it. As a final step, remember to reinstall the license plate on the new license plate mount on the platform. And that's it. Now you can enjoy less clutter inside of your van by mounting things outside of your van. These platforms are great for a wide range of storage options we offer at Flatline, including our boxes and racks. Check them out, and thanks for watching.